How's it going, friends? It's Keaton here. I'm an outcome-based marketer and entrepreneur that makes videos that save other entrepreneurs time, headaches, and tears. So if that's interesting to you, consider subscribing. In this video, we're talking about how I made my first $1 million online as an entrepreneur.
Here in my garage.
It's going to be kind of an off-the-cuff video. I've got some numbers prepared, but other than that, I'm just going to tell my story. And my hope here is that it just inspires at least one person watching it to know that this is like a real thing. People actually do make money online. They make really good money doing it. And maybe you don't even want to jump in fully right now and do it full time. That's totally fine. But I'm going to teach you how you can make some money potentially on the side and then eventually grow that into a full-time thing. So first of all, here's some proof. I'll put a picture up. That's my QuickBooks account. So we've made over $1 million at this point. I'm just talking about the first million. And again, I want to address, I know a lot of you are probably skeptical because of all the gurus out there.
Just bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills.
But I do promise you one of my core values is honesty and integrity, and I'm being 100% upfront with you in this video. I'm going to tell you how it actually happened and share like the real raw numbers with you. So I made this money in revenue, not profit, from my social media marketing agency in about 36 months. So from when I started trying to make money online to when I actually made my first $1 million, it took about 3 years. So the story starts back when I was 20 years old in 2018 and just starting college. I had a job at the time with my family business where I would run literally all the marketing for this new location. So the family business was a swim school. They teach babies from like 6 months to 10 years old how to swim. And they were opening up a new facility. And so I was the one that was helping with the marketing. So we do like local events, we do billboards, we do signs on the side of the road, all kinds of things. But the thing I noticed that I liked the most and I was the best at and actually had the best results as well was social media marketing. And so I would run these ads on Facebook and Instagram. We would get a ton of response from them, people messaging in, the office would call them, book them on the schedule. And I felt like I was actually producing really good results. And at this time, I also started to get really fed up with school about a month in. Like I was learning so much more from running real ads in the real world for a real company than I was in school. And so I was trying to figure out what that meant for me, if I was destined to go to school, if I really wanted to be there, or if I was going to do something else. And eventually I ended up just deciding, you know what, why don't I try to start a business and get more of these social media marketing clients? That was in January of 2019. I put up a Facebook post. I was like, hey, I'm starting an agency. If anybody needs help with marketing, please reach out. I had 2 friends reach out. We started working together on a couple projects they had, but it wasn't really progressing that quickly because they were both brand new business owners and they didn't know that what they were doing. I didn't know what I was doing. Anyway, I worked for them for free for about 2 months. And then I decided like, no, I want to work with an established business that can actually pay me and I can actually get real results for. And so that's when I started looking around for a mentor, someone who could help me through this process. And I ended up connecting with one on Instagram. He seemed like he had good results. He was a genuine person. And so I paid him to become my mentor to start a social media marketing agency. And let me tell you, that was some of the best money I ever spent, hands down. The reason for that is that I didn't know what I didn't know. And I needed a coach to be like, hey, you need to focus on this today, not this. And that's the biggest issue with beginning entrepreneurs is we don't know what to focus on. So anyway, I hired this coach and I finished school. I ended up finishing the second semester that I was in. It would have been cooler if I like dropped out and, you know, dropped all my classes, but I ended up finishing, playing it safe. And at the end of April 2019, I started my social media marketing agency. Like for real, I actually had, you know, clients and revenue at that point. So my first client was my family business. I decided to convert them into just a retainer client so that I was charging them $600 a month. And then I built a new website for them as well, which I charged like $2,500 for. And then I was like, okay, I need to get a real client, like someone that's not a family business. I need to prove this to myself that I can do this. And I was talking to a friend and he said, you know, you should look into the orthodontist niche. They make a lot of money. They have high churn because they're always just like treating the patient and then getting another patient. So they always need marketing. And you should just look into it. And so I did. And I messaged an orthodontist, the first one that came up on Facebook. And they were like, yeah, let's get on a call. We'll see, you know, I can answer some questions. You can help me out potentially with marketing. And it was just like a research-based call where I was trying to figure out, you know, if this was a good niche to go into. So I ended up getting on the phone with the marketing manager. She was super nice. I shared some tips that I would have had for marketing with them. And she was like, wow, who are you? Like, how can we work with you? And I was like, well, My price would be around $600 a month to run your marketing campaigns. I think I actually said it'd be like $2,000 a month, but I'd be willing to do it for you for 1,000 or something like that. And then she was like, "Oh, we want to do this specific type of ad," and she ended up talking me down to like 600 a month, which was fine. And then about 2 weeks in, there weren't results from the specific type of ad that she wanted to do, and I was like, "Hey, it's because of these reasons. Let's switch to this type of ad, but that's going to be an extra 200 a month, so 800 a month is what we settled on." They're actually still my client today and still paying me $800 a month today, which is crazy. Almost 4 years later, like 3.5 years later, I guess. So once I signed that first client, I was like trying to figure out if I was going to stick with the orthodontist niche. And I decided, I'm going to try to help this friend out, an insurance agent, a home services contractor. And I got kind of distracted for a couple months, but then I said, no, the person who's getting results, the person who's sticking with me is this orthodontist. So let's see what we can do here, how deep we can go into this niche. And so I ended up closing another client and then another client and another client until September of 2019. I had about 8 clients, and with all the revenue I was being paid, my agency was making $10,000 a month, which was a huge milestone for me, especially just having turned 21. I was super excited about it. I ended up flying out to meet my mentor. We had a good time, and that was like a very cool period of my life. Around this time, I started talking to another agency owner who was actually working in the orthodontist niche as well. And he was like, "Hey, I've been looking for a partner." Turns out we had actually learned a little bit of marketing from the same person. He used to work for them, and I had paid him for consulting. And we ended up connecting and becoming business partners in January of 2020. So, right before everything happened with COVID, obviously, we had no idea it was going to happen. But we partnered up, and within 2 months, like with the experience that he had and the work ethic I had, we were getting to, I think we had $15,000 a month within just 2 months inside of that partnered agency. And what we had done, instead of just combining all of our current clients, we had said, okay, we get to keep these clients, but every new client we sign is going to be part of this partnership. So we became partners like January 5th or 6th or something of 2020. And I just want to share the numbers from 2019. The first year of myself being in business, I made $54,985, and I paid taxes on $17,873. So that was my quote unquote profit. That's what I was living off of. It felt like so much money at the time, and it was a lot of the time. Like when you're single, you don't actually need that much money. The reason the profit margin was quite low is because I was just spending tons of money on coaching, on figuring out how the process actually works. And I was just reinvesting back into the business, which was the best thing I could have done at that point. That was really smart. So that was my revenue from 2019. And then also my quote unquote profit. That's what I paid taxes on. So that's what I paid myself. Well, the reason I say quote unquote profit is you could make like, let's say $500,000 with a business. And after you pay employees, you got $250,000 left. So that's a 50% margin. But then, I don't need $250,000 to live off of. So I'm going to spend another 50 to 100 grand of that on coaching, consulting, getting better at the business, etc. And maybe that brings it down to 100 or 150,000 for the year of personal income, which is great. But I just want to point it out there, like profit's kind of this weird thing where you kind of decide how profitable you are depending on how much you want to keep investing and learning more and more. All right, so now back to January of 2020. We had ramped up to about $15,000 in revenue, splitting that obviously between me and my partner. We had no employees or anything at this point, and we were just continuing to sign clients and go as heavy as we could in growing the business. Then March 17th of 2020 or 16th, whatever it was, the coronavirus pandemic broke out. All of the orthodontists we were working with had to close down their businesses for a little bit and try to figure out how all of that works. And we were like, oh no, like what's going to happen? So we shut off everyone's billing. And then about a week later, we were like, it just seems like all the orthodontists are spending a ton of time online and it's easier to reach them. And people want to pay for marketing because they still need to grow their business. And we exploded. I think we were at $30,000 in revenue just a few months later. And then at the end of the year, we were, between 30 and 35,000 as we tried to figure out how this new scale was going to work. So at the end of 2020, the numbers that I have from our partnered agency was $269,399 in revenue. Very cool. And the number I made for my personal agency was $54,260. And then that year I started doing a little bit of coaching for agency owners who were just starting out and needed some help. And I made about $2,800 working in coaching as well. And that year I ended up paying taxes on $101,669. I spent a lot of money that I made that year on a new startup called Course Ranks, which ended up doing decently well, not really making a profit, but I think I put about total like $30,000 into that. Anyway, that was my second year in business. So going into my third year, I'm 24 months in at this point. I've got $381,000 that I've made online. And in the next 12 months, I would make up the rest of the 620,000 that it would take to get to that $1 million mark. So what ended up happening in 2021 is we focused a lot more on getting new clients, getting them better results, just all the things that make a good business. And by April of that year, or May, I believe, we're at $50,000 a month, which was very, very cool. We kept growing that, sort of trying to figure out how to grow past that $50,000 a month. And I think we had a couple months that may have been a little bit bigger than that, but basically ended the year around an average of $50,000 a month in 2021, which put us at $582,640 in partner agency revenue. And then my personal agency had declined a little bit. I made $29,000 from it. And then in coaching sales, I made about $5,800. So a little bit of a bump there. And I ended up paying taxes on $98,000 in 2021. And so that adds up to like almost $1 million. We ended up crossing it in January of 2022. And that was super exciting moment for me. But also at the same time, it was just like felt completely normal because there was nothing special about crossing the $1 million mark when you've already made, 988,000 or something like that. I saw a tweet when Elon Musk had become the richest man in the world. He said, somebody tweeted at him, said, Elon Musk has now become the richest man in the world because of these reasons. And he was like, huh, interesting. Now back to work. And I am nowhere near the amount of wealth that he has. But at the end of the day, business just becomes something that is enjoyable and that I like to do and that teaches me a lot of things. And at a certain point, the money is just nice. So now to close out, I'll just share what we've made up to this point in 2022. It's November 21st when I'm recording this. I obviously would love to share so many lessons, and so many have been learned, but that's what the rest of my channel is for. So go check it out. But let's talk about how much I've made this year, or kind of the total numbers that I've made so far online. So the marketing agency, the partnered marketing agency, has made $1,583,033.64, which is very cool. My personal marketing agency has made $165,200 through affiliate marketing, which was Course Ranks and the other affiliates that I have on this channel. If you don't know what affiliate marketing is, check it out. I've made around $35,000. YouTube AdSense, I've made $8,000, and coaching, I've made $53,000 in revenue. Again, these are all revenue numbers, not what I've kept. And that brings the entire number to $1,843,233. Guys, I'm just a normal person. I'm 25 years old. I decided to go out there and try to start my own thing. And I've learned so many valuable skills through this process. If you like this video, you'll probably like this one where I talk a little bit more in depth about the lessons that I've learned about starting a marketing agency, as well as just other entrepreneurial lessons if you're interested in that. Please check it out. Thanks for checking out this video, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.